Hello everyone, and I hope you're doing well. I'm doing this because I feel compelled to, and in the hopes that it will help somebody. So this is something that happened to me, and I took the advice and tried, and it works. So I want to share it with others, and thinking that maybe somebody else can benefit as well. And it may be something you're already doing. I wasn't, and so this changed pretty much everything. So, and I don't take credit for this. I did see it mentioned in a video that was just playing randomly, and it kind of caught my ear. But the Father and the Son tell us this in the Bible, so it's not like this isn't me telling you I made something I discovered, or the video I was watching that's something they discovered. It just is. So I'll tell you a story, my story about this. So I have a need on my property. There's something that isn't working properly, and this is not like something that's just nice to have around. This is potentially like a life or death situation. This thing has to work, okay? And I've been trying for around about 3 years to get this issue resolved. It takes a very specialized skill set. You can't just do it. You can't get your friends to come over and help. This requires specific equipment and knowledge and licenses. I mean, I don't know what all. It just is. You can't really do this on your own. So for about 3 years, I've been trying to get this resolved, and I have contacted every business that I could find that does this. There's not many. Probably ended up 3, maybe 4 individuals and or businesses that I've been hounding for 3 years, and can't even get a call back. You'll get a receptionist that will take your information, so and so will call you back, and then nothing. It's been very frustrating. It's been going on and on. I tell other people when they say, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, how you doing, or how's this, and I'll bring it up just on the off chance that they're like, oh, I know a guy, or something like that. And it's been, like I said, 3 years now. There's some wind occasionally. I hope it's not impacting the video. I'm under a tree, but anyway. So, I mean, every night for over 3 years, I pray every night. And in the prayer, I do ask for this to be resolved. But what I discovered was basically I was praying wrong. Here's the phrase I would use at the end of prayer, and I think a lot of people probably use something similar, and that is, if it be thy will be done. That's not the way you do it. It's wrong, and I found that out because what I was doing was basically, praying for individuals and other things, and also throwing in this need that I have on my property. And I wasn't doing it correctly. Here's the short version of how to correct this. When you pray to the Father, never use the words, well, the main word never to use is if. If it be thy will, if. Don't say, if it's your will, could you please do this for me? Don't use words like that, like maybe. I can't really think of an example. I don't use maybe in prayers, but I do say if. And this individual, this video I was watching, had I think there were 3 phrases not to say, or 3 words, and 2 of them I don't say, but I did. If is definitely something I would say in prayer. We're not supposed to pray that way. We're supposed to pray, God says if you obey, he will deliver. So you don't say, it shows kind of a weakness on your part and a lack of faith to say if, because God's not going to be like, this person needs this, but I'm not going to give it to him unless he says if. like the Bible says God already knows what you need, and that's why you're not supposed to repeat the same thing in your prayers. And that was another thing I was doing. I was asking for this every night. And another thing was, I would say, I would pray for this to be resolved, and then I would end the prayer, if it be thy will. And I kept thinking, like, I know God's timing is perfect, but like, what's he waiting for? Like, I've been asking for 3 years, like, this should be resolved by now. But the way God works, it's pretty amazing. You can't think of it as like human, like people. Like, well, if somebody asked me for something and 3 years later I still hadn't done it, that's kind of reflects poorly on me. I was asking incorrectly. It was more like begging, like, oh please, if you don't mind, if you have the time, if you can, fit me into your schedule. You pray as if it's already been done and you're thanking him. Your mindset has to be that it's not an if, it's I know this is going to happen. So I switched my prayers around, and instead of saying, if it be thy will be done, I just said at the end, thy will be done. Like, I'm telling God, I know whatever you do, whatever you want to do, it's just a done deal. So I didn't pray as if I needed this thing. I prayed as if it was already a done deal, and I was just basically waiting for it to happen. But I knew it would, instead of this kind of doubtful, like, come on, man, like, what's the hang up? And so for 2 nights, I changed the way I prayed and didn't use if. And that's not just for this, it's for the whole prayer. I don't say, if it be thy will, could, heal this individual who's going through, this physical ailment or whatever. It's just, you say it as if, like, I know you're going to heal them. And I'm thanking you. Thank you for healing this individual. Even though they're technically still sick, you pray as though the prayer has been carried out. And so for 2 nights, I changed it up, and I didn't say if. I prayed as if I knew it was a done deal. 2 days I was doing this, 2 nights. And then, so the second day, I'm at home doing my own thing and my phone rings. My phone doesn't ring very often. And when it does, it's usually, I look at the screen and it says potential spam. And it always, if it says potential spam, it is. And so I'll just block the call and move on. So my phone rings and I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Maybe it's somebody I know, but generally it's pretty rare. I look at my phone and it's, well, let me back up. So in between this time, before I started changing the way I pray, I got a number from an acquaintance. I was just chit-chatting with him. I bought some stuff from him, and we were just sitting in his office talking. It's local. And somehow the topic came up, and I said, yeah, I've been looking for, this for 3 years. And he's like, oh, I got a guy. And I was like, oh, here we go again. So I'm like, oh, well, I need his number. And so he gives me the number. I call the guy, super nice. He's not like local. He's in the state, but it's not, I wouldn't want to drive to where he's at, like, consistently. It's a ways away. And he's super nice, and I tell him what I need, and he's like, yeah. So the main piece of machinery he needs to do this, anybody would need to do this, he doesn't have. I don't know if his broke, or he didn't have one. He was just doing repairs, and now he was going to do the whole thing. And so, and he said, I'm having a real hard time finding that piece of equipment. And he said he did find one that's supposed to be, he said it was in Oklahoma, but he hadn't found the time to go all the way to Oklahoma to look at this thing. So I ended the phone call. I said, I appreciate it. Thank you. I was like, oh, here we go again. And I said, if you don't mind, just, if things change, just have me on your list. And he's like, absolutely. And, hangs up. Well, my experience with people out here is it's a lot of talk and no action. It's very difficult to get somebody out here to actually show up and do work. Partially because we're so remote, partially because this state is just known for, there's a lot of lazy people. So, I was like, well, I tried. And so he did, let me think. Okay, so I'm on his quote unquote list, but he doesn't have the equipment he needs. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon because he's got to go to Oklahoma and he doesn't know when he can do that. So I'm like, eh. So anyway, 2 nights of praying differently, removing the negative, doubtful word if, and praying as if I knew it was a foregone conclusion. It's going to happen. 2 days later, my phone rings, and I'm like I said, I was like, oh boy, 50-50 at best, this is actually somebody I know or want to talk to. I look at the phone, and it's that guy. So I answer it, and he's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, great, thinking like, this is weird. He's actually calling me back. He's like, yeah, I found the equipment I needed in Arizona, and I've got it, and I tested it, and it works, except it does need a few tweaks, and my mechanic is going to fix that, and there is like state licensing involved, so he's just waiting for some paperwork to come back from the state. And he tells me, would it be cool if I came out to your place in like 2 weeks and just took a look at everything and then set a date and came back and did the work? And I was like, yeah. So 2 weeks go by, and I'm thinking, I'm kind of not thinking about it. I just know it's going to happen, but I'm not stressing on it. He calls me back, and he apologizes for not being there yet. And I'm like, that's okay, because, I want the work done. The pre-meeting, that's more his thing. Like, I don't need to meet this guy ahead, but he does for his, for the work. So I'm okay, cool. But it's not something I'm dwelling on, because technically he could just show up and do the work without looking at it first, but that's how he wanted to do it. So I wasn't stressing on it. He calls me back apologizing for not having already come, and I was like thinking in my head, I was like, kind of forgot about that pre-visit, but okay, that's cool. He's it's cool that you're reaching out and giving me updates. And he tells me he's got everything's good, except he's just still waiting on the paperwork, but he thinks it'll be by the beginning of like the first week of July. So he's telling me, like, I still want to come out there maybe next week, but by the first week of July I should be doing the work. And so I'm just like, this is incredible. And he tells me, he goes, I've already got, since he got this, and of course I had him in my prayers too to get this equipment he needed, but I didn't, I dropped the whole if thing. And he says, I've already got 14 jobs lined up, and he hasn't even started his first one. It's already on the list. He's got 14 jobs lined up, and he said that he's got me, I'm number 2. So I'm just like blown away. I'm like, this is just insane. So I don't know if there's more to this or not, but the point is, and you can take this advice or not. And like I said, you may already do it this way, but don't pray with ifs, okay? Pray with conviction and know that your Father will provide for you. You just have to ask him the right way. It's kind of like your own kids. If they ask you in a way that's like, that's not the right way to ask, somebody for something, you're kind of going to ignore them until they figure it out. And then they ask you the right way, and you're like, absolutely. And that's literally what happened. And so, that's always been my main thing, to get that resolved. So I don't really ask for stuff than something like that anymore. I ask for, people I know, for things to go well for them, if they're not feeling well, to be healed. But I don't say it, if it's your will, could you please make so-and-so their leg heal, or what, that kind of thing. So, but I still, even though I'm not asking for this main thing that I've been wanting for 3 years to happen, I still pray that way. I've eliminated if and any doubt from prayer. Like I said, pray with conviction, pray as if it's already done. And and you're basically thanking your Father for taking care of, even if it hasn't been done yet, say thank you. So now when I pray, I say, thank you. I look forward to the day that, he shows up and it's all done. And let me know if that's how you pray, or you used to do it, like I did, and you changed and you noticed something happen, or if you do change up and something you've been praying on for a long time suddenly happens. Because I remember my main thing was like, what's the holdup? Why haven't you done this for me yet? And it's like, okay. So for 3 years, I was basically just doing it wrong. It's pretty simple. Changed it up. 2 days later, I get the phone call. It's like scheduled. So anyway, take care, peace, God bless.